Hey folks, Mr. Justin here with Secret Weapon Miniatures and another 2-minute tutorial for you. This time what I want to look at are the Juweela sandbags. I absolutely love these things. This is a Sherman tank I did. This is a Tamiya kit. All of these sandbags are individually placed. They come from Juweela like little snuff packets, really, full of a model safe material, and you place them individually. In this case, for the Sherman kit, and I was able to leave the gap on the hull, which you wouldn't see with one of the resin versions of kits like this. I was able to get a piece of wood underneath them to support, leave room for the machine gun, and of course I can actually take the spare road wheel and press it into the sandbags while they're still curing, as well as press it over the top, so you get a realistic drape in a way that you certainly don't with the plastic sandbags or the resin versions of kits like this that come for models. But also even for putty, when I'm working with putty sandbags, I found that no matter what I did, they still wound up looking a bit like putty. I've used a lot of good tricks to make that work, both in terms of having little texture stamps and all of that to get the burlap texture on the sandbags. But I've never found a better way than the Juweela sandbags, which is why it's one of the only products we sell but don't manufacture. So I'm going to look at how to do both a wall on a hull like that, and since I don't have a spare hull, I have a cup glued to an 80mm base, because hey, why not? And I have, of course, a GW bike base here for a quick sandbag wall. The other things I'm going to need is some wood glue, some water, this is just inside my airbrush cleaner bottle, and a cup to mix them in. So I am going to start by putting some wood glue in the cup. I do recommend wood glue over other PVAs. It's a little more dense, a little more durable. I'm going to add a bit of water. I want to thin this down to slightly it's more watery than a paste consistency. I need to be able to brush it fairly smoothly. I have two brushes today. I have this big boy, which is going to get lots of nice glue on it. And then I have this little stubby guy for stabbing sandbags to get that drape that I'm looking for. Let me get a little more glue in here. I don't think that's going to be enough. A little more water, and find that paintbrush. So the first thing I'm going to do is whatever the surface is that I'm working on, and if I'm working on a large surface, I'm going to have to do this in batches, is I'm going to put down a very thin layer of straight PVA on the bottom layer. For gaming pieces, if I'm going to be handling it a lot, I'll actually come in along the back line and add a bit of cyanoacrylate. I don't have to do this every time, but I tend to be more safe than sorry. Some folks, too, don't like the little jagged edges on the sandbags. You can cut them off if you want. I tend not to. I think they're fine. Otherwise, just cut along that white line right there. I'm going to take the first row and just put them down. And another nice thing about this is those of you that have actually worked with sandbag fortifications know that there are different ways to lay them out. And that means you can go, in fact, I'll do that for this first one. I'll go too wide in spots and then come up over the top. So the first row is just 2 by 2. Boom, 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 boom. Load up my PVA and water. And seriously soak these guys. It doesn't matter. They're still going to be paintable. They're going to be stainable. The ones you saw on that Sherman tank, that's just washes over the top. Acrylic washes, no less. And you can see that even with the softer brush here, when I press in to make sure I'm getting that PVA mix really all the way through the bag, you can see they already start to take the shape. Lots I can do to manipulate these. And hey, if you're looking for quick, easy, portable terrain pieces, this is a good idea. To get a couple more sandbags, this time I'm going to go across the top. I'm going to start in the gaps. And I'm doing it, obviously, across. And it really is that simple. I mean, there's nothing more to it than this. If you're trying to make a sandbag wall, the only thing you're going to need is time. This is a slow process, but particularly for a display vehicle, I mean, you just can't beat it. I mean, that Sherman tank, I love those individually placed sandbags. The drape on them, the visual weight, and the fact that I can make it unique. So if I have more than one of these, say I'm playing bolt action, and I've got a couple of Shermans and I want sandbags on two of them, they don't have to look the same, you know, in the way that you know, aftermarket resin kits for things like that tend to. So I'm pushing down all the weight, pushing down, pushing down, pushing down, pushing down. And as this dries, you can get in, manipulate it a bit more. If you really want to have a good time, pull out the blow dryer, wait until they're a little tacky, and then they'll do an easier job of holding their shape when you press them down. But even right here, you can see I get that realistic weight and heft to them. So it's really the same when you're working on a hull. If we can say that this is, you know, the flat section, this is the hull here. I'm going to go ahead and put down a layer of wood glue. If I was trying to do the entire piece, I would work in sections. So I've got my glue. I'm doing the wall. I'm doing a ring right here around the base because there's going to be a layer of sandbags there. Pulling this down, pulling it down, pulling it down, pulling it down, brushing it in. Make sure I've got good coverage. Take whatever's left on my brush, mix it in here. I can't have too much glue. And then the same deal. Sandbag. Sandbag. Ha! Sandbag. I'm going to get 2 layers this time before I start with my PVA mix. Boom, 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 boom. Just pressing it in there. Press, 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 press. And again, once this dries completely, you can paint the sandbags, you can stain the sandbags. If you really want to, you can add a little bit of color to your PVA and water mix here. If you knew right off the bat that you wanted them to be a little more gray than neutral, add a drop of Payne's Gray or something. Making sure I get the glue all the way through, and again, pressing. I come in with my stubby brush. Boom! Big old dent. Get that nice dent in these things. Make sure that visual weight really holds. Add a sandbag across here. Come in the opposite direction now, just to change it a bit visually. And again, I haven't trimmed off the ends of these sandbags. Some do, some don't. I tend not to. That's really all there is to this. Needs a little more water. There's no magic formula for this. Wood glues vary a bit in consistency. The viscosity isn't always the same. Conditions you're working in are going to affect that. For instance, where I am right now, this part of California, it's what, 104 degrees outside Fahrenheit right now, and not a whole lot cooler in my office. So the glue tends to dry out a little quicker, which means I need a little more water to keep it runny for a bit. So again, as you can see, I've got that nice weight to it. Really looks like they're pressed down on the other sandbags, because they are. They are sandbags, and they are pressed into each other. So custom shapes every time. Come across the top of that again if you want. Boom. Boom. Quick, simple, easy fortifications, walls. I can't say enough good things about these. I was so excited when we first got them. I'm the only one in the shop who hobbies, so it's always fun when something like that comes in, because I'll be dancing around all giddy and nobody gets it. They just smile and nod and humor me. You guys get it. That's amazing! And that's it. Those are the Juweela sandbags. They're fantastic. They come in more than one quantity option, so you've got 3 quantity options to choose from. We can get you a bunch of sandbags if you want to go nuts. I'd love to see what you're working on. Any questions, of course, it's Mr. Justin at secretweaponminiatures.com, or you'll find us on Facebook /secretweaponminiatures. And of course, if there's something you want to see covered on one of these videos, hey, let me know. I'll see what I can do. Thanks for watching.